Hi, I'm Lee, your host for the Portable Appliance Testing Trade Association's podcast. We've got another guest in today, so welcome to the PATTA podcast. Please do tell our listeners what's your name and what's your role in PATTA.
Good afternoon, Lee. My name's Steve Matthews. I'm on the committee of PATTA and I'm putting together some video content.
Fantastic, great. So how long have you been with PATTA?
Well, I started with the PAT Testing Network in 2015.
Oh, excellent. Yeah,
And
PTN.
That's it, yeah. And that changed and evolved into PATTA.
Yes.
And
About 2019, that one.
Yeah.
So you was a member right from the start?
Yeah, from the beginning.
Oh, that's excellent. And have you seen any changes, or has anything changed for you since being a member or being on the committee? When did you actually come onto the committee?
I started on the committee about 2023, I think. Previous to that, I attended some of the social events that they ran on a sort of an annual basis. There weren't that many people attending them at the time.
No, and that's something I think we need to sort of concentrate on, getting some of the members to network again. That would be a great sort of social event to do. And maybe that's something we can talk about as a committee moving forward, reinvigorating those member meetups.
That's right. I think there was obviously a really good benefit from that. I wanted to meet people in different areas that potentially I could pass work to, and because a lot of my work I prefer to keep to my region and still get inquiries a long way off. And instead of
it's an excellent point you've just made there. So the PAT Testing Network, we do say that it's there to help raise standards, but not forgetting it's there as a good network, because whoever's a PATA member all have pretty much the same ethos as yourself. So by finding somebody in that area, if you've got a customer phoning you up that's out of your area, you have that confidence in phoning a PATA member in that area and offering that work to them. Is that what
That's right. Yes. I've had like a job in Newcastle before. Obviously, I don't want to travel up from Surrey to Newcastle.
It's a long way, isn't it?
To do a job. But I've managed to, through the PAT Testing Network, or PATA, which it is now, find someone that I can trust in that area to cover those jobs.
Excellent. When and what got you into PAT testing?
Well, a very good friend of mine started the business back in 2006. He started it on his own, ran it very well, had people working for him. He got very busy at one stage, and we've been friends for a long time, and I ended up helping him out on quite a few jobs. He trained me up to how he went about doing the PAT testing. It wasn't something I was familiar with previous to that.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything
about it. Was that the
core
part of the business? It was just the PAT testing?
That was it, He developed the business just doing PAT testing. He was very, very precise and very competent person.
Yeah.
And by, I think it was 2013, I'd done quite a bit of work for him.
Yeah.
And I had the opportunity of buying the business off of him, which I'd done in 2013. And since then, I've run it myself, and I've got people working for me as well.
Fantastic. What's the name of your business? Sorry, I've never asked that.
It's Pat Test Me UK.
Pat Test Me UK. Excellent. That's really good. I mean, I suppose you could then offer advice about buying into a business or purchasing business, because you've now experienced that. Is that something that, is it just the one business you've purchased, or have you ever bought any others? Maybe like a sole trader that's retiring from PAT testing. Have you ever taken another business on?
I've always been self-employed since I left engineering when I was about 18, something like that. I've always had my own businesses and ran my own businesses. This is the first one I've ever bought, and I've heard that it's not really viable buying a PAT testing business. Sometimes I've heard that, but in my experience, it's been very worthwhile. And many of the customers that Richard, who I bought the business off of, had at the time, I'm still doing their PAT testing all these years later.
That is incredible. So that's good testament to your ethos, your working standards as well, isn't it? And the knowledge you're bringing to the committee, just for that alone, is quite valuable. So anybody that's on Facebook asking questions like this, you could sort of help out and give your advice for your experience.
Yes, that's rightly, yeah.
Fantastic. Steve, what's been your best customer experience, or actually even your worst? Anything? What have you got? Sort of any stories that you'd like to share with us?
I suppose really, since PAT testing, the best experience is the variety of locations that you go to. I've been doing work in tunnels underground when they're doing the Elizabeth line.
Oh, wow.
I've been 50 stories high in Canary Wharf doing building projects.
Yep, no thank you very much.
On open buildings, having to carry my bag up there at the ladders. It's endless. Even boats, I've PAT tested on boats before.
So it's the variety of work that's the best experience by being a PAT tester. It's just the sheer difference from day-to-day operation. Is that basically what you're saying?
It is, yeah. Even if you've got a bad experience one day, you're only there for a few hours, move on and find another business that's really interesting. You just come across so many different businesses and people as well. Lots of customers, lovely to meet.
Keeps the job interesting.
It does, very interesting.
Have you got any worst ones, or anything you'd like to share on that? The worst customer experience?
The worst customer experiences, to be honest, are when you've put a lot of effort into doing a job, you've done a lovely job, and then you get the letter in the post to say that company's gone bust.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a few people out there listening to this that it's happened to. And it's happened to me as well. I've had that letter, albeit it was probably for £80-90 that a bill I didn't get paid for. It's not a huge hole in your pocket, but it does affect your bottom line at the end of the day. And you don't want too many of those in a year, do you? So
definitely not.
Yeah, I completely agree. And that's the worst time, is finding that letter come through the post saying, sorry, we can't pay you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. What motivates you? What gets you out of bed in the morning? Come on, Steve, you must have something you can share with us that really makes you want to get up, go to work in the morning, because I know at the end of the day, I've got this to go back to, or this helps fund a hobby or whatever. What motivates you?
I suppose since I've been doing the PAT testing for a few years now, I've managed to, I've got some really reliable staff. So I'm in a position where, as long as I'm giving them work on a daily basis and dealing with all the administration, I've got free time to do other things. So when I do get up in the morning, I start in a quite a healthy way doing my exercises every day now. So I've got time for that. And that's been quite nice. That's been nice to be able to do that, to have the free time to do that. And obviously, even when I go on holidays, I'm still running the business.
You never leave it behind.
I take the laptop, even if I'm in India, I take the laptop to India and do the invoicing and results at the end of the day.
So there's your motivation. Is that a regular place, going to India, is it?
I've got another one planned. I've been there a couple of times recently. I've ridden through the Himalayas on a motorcycle, which was wonderful.
Oh, excellent. That sounds amazing. And then you come back to PAT testing, and your motivation is to that holiday that's coming up.
That's right. Yeah.
Excellent. And again, I think I was talking to Steve some time ago. I was talking to Tim on one of the podcasts, and he was saying having a good team behind you is key as well, isn't it? Because it allows you to have a little bit of time to go and do something for you, not just for the business.
Definitely. You need reliable staff. They're priceless.
Fantastic. Yeah, agreed. So, Steve, PAT Test Me UK, based in Surrey, is that right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. what one thing can we leave the podcast with? What's the final one piece of advice that we can walk away with on this this podcast that you can give us? One golden nugget of information or advice you can give any one of our listeners out there, or even what would you tell yourself when you first started? Anything.
I suppose one piece of advice I would give to anyone new starting in PAT testing, I've seen some comments on these Facebook pages about how it's not worth quoting for a job because they only wanted a couple of items done and this sort of thing. I would say to you, what would you be happy to charge that person to do those 1 items or 2 items? Don't make the assumption that it's not worth it, because in the past I've quoted and gone a long way for 1 item, and I've charged like £140 to do 1 item. It was worth it for that person, and it was worth it for me to spend that time traveling to do that 1 item. So never think it's not worth quoting for 1 item when
Pricing
someone calls.
it correctly.
That's it, for your time.
Absolutely. So you've got to put that into the equation. You might get a customer that phones up and says, I've got 1 item to test, and you'll say, oh, it's £5, I'll do it. And then you realise they're an hour away. So actually, you need to put an hour's worth of your time into that quote. So it's just being careful and asking that question right at the start.
Yeah.
Where are you based?
That's right, definitely.
And then you can quote off the back of that and making sure that it's worthwhile, because you can soon price yourself out, and in the end you're losing money because you're traveling so far away just for a few items. It's just being careful, isn't it?
Yeah. Or even not quoting for something because you, in your mind, think it's not worth quoting for 1 item.
Sure, absolutely. And if you obviously as a PATTA member in that area, you can always refer the customer onto the website.
That's right.
And say, have a look, there might be somebody closer that could do it a little bit cheaper than what I could. And you're being honest about it, but you're not saying, no, it can't be done.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thank you very much, Steve, for coming in and having a chat with us. Look forward to the next podcast.
Thanks for inviting me, Lee.
Cheers.